Through my childhood and through my teenage years, I had a really close relationship with the Lord. I was able to speak to Him, and just like He was my friend, anytime I needed Him, He was there through all my troubles, and it was awesome. I got married at age 19, and by age 21, I had the first of my 3 children. So it appeared that everything in life was just going along pretty good. However, over the next few years, my walk with the Lord took kind of a different turn. One area that Satan was able to reach me the most directly was actually through my singing. And the voice that God had given me to use for Him and for singing His praises and for His purposes, I actually started to use for my own purposes and my own personal gain. I started to sing in secular bands. Even though I was singing in church from time to time, I was singing in secular bands, and that was the time in my life when I really began to love the praise of man more than the praise of God. Singing with those secular bands led to staying up half the night in bars, which led to just a lifestyle that was unhealthy, both physically and spiritually. I found that I was able to have a party face on Saturday night and have a church face on Sunday morning. And that was a dance with the devil that ended up slowly starting to tear my life apart. But I was saved. I was that little girl who at 12 years old had turned my life over to Jesus, had accepted Jesus. So what was I doing here? Why was I at this point? I put on my church face after we had been out singing and living it up the night before, and I went in, and that morning was the morning that God really chose to convict me. And I remember standing there in front of the church. I remember kind of being on shaky knees and kind of ill legs from the night before, and just looking out at the congregation and all those sweet faces. And as I was singing, I started to see the tears rolling down their faces, and I realized that was what was really important, that this was what really mattered. All the lighters from the night before that had been held up and waved in praise of me were nothing compared to these people who were being touched by the gift that God had given me. I started praying and asking God to reveal to me what it was that He wanted me to do with my life and with my singing. I started having this little piece of a song in my head. It was a song I hadn't ever heard before, as far as I knew. Immediately the light bulb came on, and I realized that God was trying to speak to me through this song. It was a song by Need to Breathe called Garden, and as I listened to it, and as the new words reached my ears, I just melted in tears, because it was like God Himself was speaking to me. And it was so bittersweet, because at that moment I realized what it was like to die to yourself to live for Christ.